Morning, good evening, good afternoon, guys. It is Todd here at Spiceworks headquarters in Austin, Texas. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. We've got a great hangout session planned for you. We've got two great IT pros, so thanks for you guys for joining us. And before I get to them, one little housekeeping note here. You may have remembered that we were supposed to have 3 IT pros here today. Well, just like many IT pros, they're running around putting out IT fires. But in this case, one of our IT pros got sick. So we have 2 IT pros here for you today instead of 3, but these 2 guys are still awesome IT pros who are ready to give some awesome feedback for you guys. So we're going to make sure to go through all these ads. We had such a great response to the ads submission that we actually have 10 great ads from tech marketers. So thank you so much, tech marketers, for sending in your ads for review. You're very brave. No, it's going to be great. The IT pros are going to be awesome at giving you guys some great feedback to make sure you guys' ads do really well inside Spiceworks, but also outside of Spiceworks if you're not on the network yet. So real quick, let's get you to your IT pros here. I want to first introduce Cameron. Cameron, say hello to the audience, and can you give a little brief bio about yourself, if you would?
Yeah, no problem. Hey guys, I'm Cameron. I've been in the IT industry actually before I graduated high school, so I might be a little young, but I got a lot of years experience, and I worked anywhere from colleges to high schools to ISPs to a top 100 e-commerce site, and now I'm in the healthcare industry. I love every aspect of IT and just enjoy the wave, basically, right? New technology, figuring out how to make people's lives easier.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Cameron, for joining us. And Cameron, what state are you from, and how many users are on your network?
Sure. I'm from California, Northern California, where it's 75 degrees today. I'm loving it. We have about 75 people on our network. It can fluctuate a little bit. We have 2 different locations. One's about a half hour away, and then our primary office. We actually, the healthcare industry right now is all kind of merging together with all the new laws and rules that are coming out. So we got a group of 3 different doctor offices, all built a brand new building. That's where I sit.
Awesome. All right, so let's go over and let's go over to Chris here. Chris, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great.
Great. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Chris.
I work in higher education for University of Texas System. I've been here for about 5 years. I've been in higher ed IT for about 20 years. I've been kind of an IT nerd for about 30 years. I got my first computer in the late 70s, and ever since then I was hooked.
Awesome. Chris, how big is your user group?
Directly right here in Austin, we have about 1,000 users. Statewide, we have about 100,000.
Wow. So you definitely have a big enterprise level type of deal going on there. So great. So again, tech marketers, welcome if you're just joining us now. Todd over here at Spiceworks HQ got 2 great IT pros. One IT pro, Cameron, from a little bit of the smaller business side with smaller users, and then we got Chris on the bigger enterprise side. So good, both balance here for you guys to see what ads resonate with them. And so without further ado, let's just get right into reviewing these ads, and this is how it's going to work. So the IT pros, I'm going to put up an ad, and they're going to give you guys a score from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest score and 10 being the highest score. They're going to put a cool little number on their face, and that's how we're going to know what their score is. Now, of course, we're going to make sure that we give you feedback on either if your ad is a lower score, how you can improve that, or if it's a higher score, what you can do better or what you did right, so the other tech marketers will know. So, all right, Cameron, Chris, ready for this?
We are.
All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and get this first ad up here. And this one is from eSky City, so thanks so much, eSky City, for submitting this ad for review here. And this says migrations don't have to be painful, and their call to action button is called "It's Free." You got a man here with some boxes there. So I'm going to let Cameron get his number up, and I'm going to let Chris get his number up here shortly, and we'll see what they have to say. And then you at home, please play along. You can use the hashtag SWUnplugged. Tweet your stuff in and let us know what you think of these ads, and we'll definitely share those online. All right, so first off here, I'm going to let Chris, you give this ad a 6. All right, and Cameron, you're giving this ad a 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the good news here. So let's take those numbers off for me, gentlemen. And Chris, why don't you go ahead and tell me what makes this ad a 6 for you?
When I first looked at it, I was a little confused. uh, as what it was targeting. But then after I read it a couple times, looked back at it, I kind of figured it out. So it kind of makes sense now. But at first glance, it looks like a moving company. Like I didn't really see the IT part of it with the boxes and everything. It was kind of confusing. But now that I understand what it is and what it's supposed to be, I can see where they were going with it. But at first glance, it's kind of confusing.
And so, Chris, instead of moving boxes, is there something else that you would put in there to show the migration so you could understand it quickly?
Maybe computers or computer parts or something. Maybe have computer parts kind of sticking out of the boxes or something.
Okay, great.
Something more IT related.
Okay. All right, let's go over to Cameron. Cameron, you gave this one a 4, so a little bit less there. So tell us kind of what your thoughts are on this one.
Sure. I think nowadays with ads, when it really comes down to paying attention to these got to grab my attention before I even look at it. And I know it's kind of hard to do, but that's really what it boils down to. For example, if I'm working on a data migration product, I might be in the middle of this project, see an ad on a page. Boxes aren't going to grab my attention. But what might is like hard drives, and say even like big hard drives stacked up in this guy's hand. I'm like, man, I'm going through that right now. That's gonna be a lot more appealing to me. So really, an ad's got to speak to me, grab my attention before I even read it, and that's why I gave this a 4.
Okay, and so I want to ask you, Cameron, here again. So you are a Spice Head, and for those who are joining us, a Spice Head is an IT pro inside of our SpiceWorks community. So Cameron, how often are you in the community versus our application, which allows you to do network monitoring help desk?
How often am I in the community, like posting and?
Yeah.
I'm often going there. That's where I found SpiceWorks out initially. I was working on a wireless access project, and I wanted to get feedback. What's the real use case scenarios for what I'm going after? So now before I do any kind of purchasing, any major purchasing, I'm hitting SpiceWorks first. I'm going to find out what the real users are using out there, and then kind of do my own comparisons, figure out what's the best for my network.
Okay. And so, Chris, I want to ask you this question. How often are you inside SpiceWorks, and do you like the ads inside SpiceWorks, and or do the ads actually, help you make your purchasing decision?
Yeah. As far as being in SpiceWorks, I'm kind of similar to Cameron, where the community is a very big part of my daily kind of routine, especially doing research and things. And so the ads and the vendors that are within SpiceWorks are the ones that I tend to pay more attention to. And when we decide on something, then I'd like to get feedback from the community on others who have already used the product.
Got it.
Kind of get live, IT feedback, not just typical white sheet type things, but the actual community users and stuff. And the community is fairly well trusted, and so they're a big part of my IT career.
Awesome. Okay, great. So again, East Sky City, hopefully that helps you out a little bit to improve that ad. So maybe take out those boxes and put some servers in there. And remember, these IT pros probably have about less than 6 seconds for you to grab their attention. So see if you can't tighten up that copy just a bit as well, and hopefully that'll improve that ad experience for them. Okay, next one comes up from one of our partners over at Erickson. So Erickson, guys, thank you so much for submitting. They had submitted 2 ads for us, so lucky us. And so again, looks like this goes inside SpiceWorks, and we've got the first one. Ad A has got mainly just text on it, and then you've got ad B over there, which has one large graphic at the top and a little bit text to follow. So Chris and Cameron, go ahead and put your scores in for this one, 1 to 10. What kind of feedback do you have for Erickson to help them improve this?
You should go first.
Chris should go first. Let me see Chris's number here as we get it in.
It's trying to.
It's trying. All right, well, how about this? Let's go with Cameron here first. Cameron, you gave it a 3.
3. Now,
3 on this one. So
I just want to start off by saying, on my scale, when I rate an ad, a 10 is going to be something that just blows my mind. I actually have to share it with somebody behind me. So when I'm rating these ads, that's the kind of scale I'm on right now. Just because it's a 3 or 4 doesn't mean it's a bad ad. It just doesn't mean it's grabbing the attention that, hey, this ad is amazing. I got to share it with somebody. That's what a 10 would be to me.
Okay, great. Cameron, go ahead and take your number off your face for me, bud. I don't want to have a There you go. All right, so Cameron, a 3 for you on this one. So what? How can Erickson improve here? Or what first things don't you like?
It doesn't speak to me at all, and I don't relate to it. So basically, unless I'm somebody who's actually reading ads on every single page, I'm never going to see this ad. And that's just the truth. The one with the guy in it is a little bit more relational because there's a human in there, but the one with the text, I mean, the colors are cool. I like orange. But other than that, it's not going to grab my attention. I'm probably not even going to notice it or read it.
So Cameron, what would grab your attention? Let's say Erickson, I know they're watching here, so if they could do like 2 key things to improve this ad for you to give it at least above a 5 so it could grab your attention, what could they do?
Make it catchy, maybe even animate it. So basically they're empowering business from end to end. Like, how can we throw it in a graphic? How can we grab people's attention with that? Maybe have a CEO talking to somebody else, something like that. How are you empowering different businesses? And just throw it in a graphic that's going to get someone to want to click on it or understand more about your company.
And Cameron, so do graphics of real IT pros or real people, does that help you like the ad a little more?
Yes, totally. If I'm on a website, I'm typically going to be reading something anyways. So it's hard to, like, the content I'm on there reading, I'm not going to want to stop reading and read an ad on top of that. So an image actually is more appealing to me because I can glance at that and understand what they're talking about within a second or two. You said you only have about 6 seconds to grab an IT professional's attention span. Mine might be a little lower than that. I click on ads a lot, especially ones that are kind of funny and humorous, and those are the ones that get my attention.
Okay, great. All right, so let's go over to Chris, and Chris gives this one an 8. So 2 ends of the spectrum here. Chris, what makes this a rock star ad in your opinion?
That was mostly for the B ad, not the A ad.
Okay, fair enough. So he liked the B over the A. So let's first say what you liked about B.
Less text, less reading. It's a guy on a phone, and I know Erickson makes phones, so right there I kind of associate it with some kind of voice networking type issue. And the tagline, end to end, and where underneath it, where it has the it's simplified with voice data and UC networking. That's kind of like, it gets to the point. You don't have to guess what they're trying to do.
Okay.
And so, yeah, the guy on the phone kind of grabs your attention. The name Erickson, which is associated with phones, or at least in my opinion, they have a strong association with phones. And then the tagline where it's just, they simplify and unify your business with voice data and UC networking. So
okay,
it's kind of to the point.
What about A? Because it seems like both of you agree that A is not your cup of tea so much. So what about A didn't you like so much?
It's just there's no image to kind of capture your attention, and it's just a lot of reading. And when you have a lot of ads on a page or something, you don't read, like you're reading the bulk of what you went to that page for. You're not really paying attention to the peripheral of the page.
Okay. And
so if it's just a plain text ad, then you tend to kind of overlook that a little bit more, or at least I do.
Okay, great. What if Erickson put bacon in their ad? Would that be something y'all would like?
No.
No. Okay. Good. Cameron?
I love bacon, and honestly, if it's gonna be that random, like if they had a bacon in the background, it kind of looks like an onion. I don't know what that background's supposed to represent, but if you throw bacon in the background, I'm gonna look at it a lot more.
All right. All right. So Erickson, hopefully that gives you some tips. It looks like ad A they're not so much in love with, but ad B you're hitting something good there with the graphic. So maybe add some more graphics to the ad A. And real human marketing, as we like to say here at Spiceworks, but for any marketer, some more human marketing, add some real IT pros into that ad. All right, so Erickson, thanks so much for that submission here. Let's keep going. We've got Medics, I think that's how you say the name, Medics. So thanks so much for this submission, y'all. This one again is it looks a little more text, not so much graphics here. And so I'm going to look at Chris and Cameron for some ratings on this one. Cameron's already set here. Chris is getting his is set here in a second. But let's go ahead and give them one more second. Oh, Chris is getting his up. Ooh, we've got a tie here, it looks like. So Chris gives it a 4, and Cameron also gives it a 4. All right, so gentlemen, let's go and start with Chris here. Chris, take off that number for me, and what about this one didn't resonate so well with you, it looked like?
Well, again, there's no graphics, so there's nothing really catchy to it. The thing that I did like is that it kind of explains what it is in simple terms. If they could even shorten that, that would be a lot better.
So when you say simple terms, so are you saying that the text, like what would you like buzzwords? I mean, not tech marketing buzzwords like cloud or productivity and all that stuff, but like how many pieces of text? Like 3 words? You know, is it a sentence or a phrase?
If you could do it in a sentence, maybe 6 words or so. Just kind of briefly explain, like the last ad, like they just basically told you what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then a graphic to kind of catch your attention. I've never heard of Medic's Grid before, and so that being like the big part of the ad, that since I've never heard of them, then I probably would tend to overlook it a little bit more. So if there's a graphic above that maybe, and then their name under that, and then kind of a brief description, that would raise my score a lot.
So how many times do you actually get introduced to a new vendor through an ad, Chris? Because you said this is your first time hearing about them. So how many times is that your first touch point with the vendor?
Within Spiceworks, it's a lot. There's the big vendors that everyone's heard of, like Dell and HP and Microsoft and such. But there's the smaller companies that have good products. They don't have the presence that the bigger companies have. Mm-hmm. And so the ads within Spiceworks, for the smaller companies, if it's something that grabs my attention, then it's something that I notice, and then I'll do the research on and figure out if they're a fit for us.
Okay, great. So a 4 from Chris there. Let's go to Cameron. Cameron also gave it a 4. Cameron, what feedback do you have for Medics here?
I like that it's simple, which is nice and elegant. So that's why I didn't get a lower score.
Okay.
But again, it's not really grabbing my attention. That being said, I do like how they kind of summed up what they are, mesh backup strategy. What I'd recommend on this ad, honestly, maybe put your logo at the bottom and put what you're selling or what you're talking about at the top. So that way, if I'm going through trying to figure out backup strategies, you can say something like, "We understand your backup mess," or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, "Okay, let's see what these guys are talking about." I'm going to click on it and find out who you are. I've also not have heard of this company before, so it's kind of my first interaction.
So you're saying, Cameron, on this one, so you're saying take the Medics Grid out from the top, put it a little lower, but put what they do first up and foremost? Yeah. Okay.
Because that name is not going to grab my attention first. It kind of, if I see it again, I might recognize it a second time, but it's not going to be appealing to me as something like, okay, I'm going through backup issues right now. I need to find a new strategy. That's something that every IT guy can relate with.
Okay. All right, good. Medics, thanks so much for submitting that. Hopefully you got some good feedback there. We're going to keep on rolling. This next ad comes from one of our rock star spicy marketers, and that's Matt from Symantec. Thanks, Matt, so much for checking out these ads and letting us review them for you. This feels like the Symantec brand from my perspective. I think of Symantec, I think of Symantec Matt, or Backup Matt. This kind of screams Matt's brand and also Symantec. So I give that kudos for there. But obviously, I'm not the real judge of this. The 2 IT pros are. So Cameron and Chris, go ahead and put your scores up there and let me know what you guys are thinking here. We're going to start with Cameron. Cameron gives it a 6. All right. So we're getting a little higher with you there, buddy. So tell us, Cameron, take that number off, and what about this ad or ads do you like?
They tell me what they're talking about before I have to read it. The backups. So I understand exactly what they're preaching before I even have to read it. And it's kind of a cool graphics. I got a guy in the background going, "I got victory over this." That's what you want when it comes to backups. So that's kind of cool too. The color scheme is nice. The black on black is a little hard to read. I would have given it a higher rating if it was a little bit more simpler there. But black and yellow pops. It's just the black on black at the bottom makes it a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Cameron, what about the call to action here that on that ad? This one says it says play the adventure. Is that a good thing for you, or does that matter to you, or kind of what do you think when you see that call to action button?
You know, it did make me want to play it and see what they're talking about. I imagine when I click this, I'd get like maybe some questions. You know, how would you rate your backup system? And it is really like an adventure. You know, every IT guy has their.
Uh-oh. We've lost your mic, Cameron. Your mic is dead. All right, we'll reset. Chris, let's go over and switch over to you here. Gotta love live Hangouts. Chris, you give it a 5 here, so again, that's kind of the middle of the road. What about it did you like? Uh-oh. We may have lost Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your camera. There we go. Gotcha. All right, Chris. What about the 5 here?
Yeah, it's straight to the point. You know, the backup. That's right there. It tells you what it is. It's Symantec, so it's a known company. The only big issue I had is the font and the coloring. It kind of makes it hard to read. It's kind of jumbled. The one on the left, the square ad, as opposed to the long ad, you can't really see what's in the background because of the text over it, and so I think some tweaking with the color or the font maybe would make this a lot higher score for me.
Okay.
But the message itself is good.
Okay. What do you think of the call to action button here when it says play the adventure?
Depending on how busy I am at the time, it could go either way for me. If I have some spare time and I'm online and I'm researching, I'm doing some stuff, I don't really have anything major going on, then it kind of piques my interest, and I would click on it and I can see that it's a YouTube video. And so I would click on it and I would take the time to watch it. If I'm under a time crunch and I don't have much time to kind of play around, then I would probably skip the YouTube video of it.
Okay.
But for the ad itself, I mean, it's straight to the point. Really, my only issue with it is just the layout and the color and style of it.
Okay. And so again, your recommendation to Matt here is to change the font, make it a little more easier to read, and change a little bit of the color. It sounds like both of you both like the black and yellow, but maybe there needs to be a little more depth to that, I guess.
Yeah, like the black and the yellow over the picture is just kind of busy.
Okay. Good one. Good one. All right. Okay, so good. Thank you so much, Matt from Symantec. By the way, Cameron hopped out here. I think he had his own IT fire, and he had to find an IT pro to help him fix his audio and video. But I'm sure to get Cameron back here in just a second. Okay, so this one is I've got an ad for you. This is from Eizo, I think is how you say it, or E-I-Z-O. Maybe it's not even a word or a phrase. But this one is going to be an animated ad, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up this animated ad here for everybody. And I want you guys to tell me what you think. Give me 1 second here to do some screen sharing. And let me see if I can't pop this up here. Talk amongst yourselves as I figure out how to pull this over. So give me 1 sec. Let's see here. Also, as I'm doing this, I'd like to... Cameron, you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me again?
There you go. Much better.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. So, Cameron, go ahead and finish your thought here on what you were saying about Matt's ad as I pull up this next ad here.
Okay, with the Play for Adventure, when you click on that button, I expect some questions actually, so that way you can personally understand what backup I have in place, tape backup, cloud backup, those kind of questions. You can almost even rate my answers like a game, like I'm gambling with my job or my company. Or people's livelihood based on what my answers are. And it is really an adventure when it comes to backup. You know, I've come up with a lot of different backup schemes over the years, and the ones that I trust are ones I actually test. Or that means I go off-site, I download from the cloud, and I do a full recovery. And it is a venture, and I can tell you, not every single time I do that does it work out well. And you think you can come up with the perfect plan, but until you test it, you don't really know how it's going to be. And so it is an adventure. These guys understand that, and this ad's pretty appealing to me.
Awesome. All right. Good feedback there from Matt. Okay, I got this ad up here. This one's from, again, E-I-Z-O or Eizo. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, guys. But here's this ad. This one's an animated ad, so I'm going to kind of let it run here. And all, by the way, this is from our German partners. Obviously, this is not English in some parts of this ad, but it's got an ant or their mascot being fired off into a cannon and shot over there. So again, thanks to the UK and the EMEA audience for submitting these ads. So again, this one's animated. And so Chris and Cameron, what kind of score do you give this ad here? I'll let everybody watch it here as you guys get your scores again and see what we think. Cameron's got his in here, so he's got his pulling in. And as Chris is getting his score up again, I want to say thanks for everybody joining us as we're rating these ads. Again, these tech marketers, we give them major kudos for allowing us to review their ads live in front of everybody. Hopefully you're getting some great feedback to improve and to get IT pros' attention as you do this. So this one seemed to get some good reviews here. So Cameron gives it a 7 overall, and Chris gives it a 6. Let's go back to Cameron here on the high score of 7. Cameron, what did you like?
I'm hoping they're talking about monitors, because that's what the ad it represents to me. And it's cool. They show their product. They have some fun. There's a cannon. There's an ant. You mix it up together. It's funny. And they're talking about the thinness of their product. So this looks like a product that actually I may even go to the store and try to find. So it was appealing to me. Hard to follow in some points. Like I said, I wasn't clear if it was for monitors or not, but that's what my guess would be.
Okay. All right, and Chris, you gave this one a 6. Tell us what you liked.
Yeah, I would assume that the same as Cameron, that it's a monitor or something about monitors. Having the text in English would, of course, help since I don't speak German. But my only thing, I don't really like animated ads.
Ooh.
I tend to have a lot of browser tabs open,
okay,
and a lot of other applications open, and the more ads that are animated, the more it kind of stutters, and it takes longer. Like you don't just look at it and you get a feeling of it with the static ad, so you have to like actually take time to watch it play out, and if it has to buffer, it takes longer, and so.
Okay.
I don't tend to like animated ads, but as an animated ad, I can see where they're going with it.
Okay. And so, Cameron, but you do like the animated ad, correct?
Yeah, I'm more partial to animated ads because otherwise they're not going to get my attention. They're not really going to have me look at them. But that being said, I feel where Chris is coming from, they can't be annoying to the point where they're distracting me. And they can't be slowing down my browser because that means it's just going to head off the web page. So you've got to kind of balance those both. And Spiceworks does a really good job at that. I never feel like their animated ads are too much. They're just the right kind of a ad that appeals to me.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much to our friends over in the UK EMEA area for joining us and for submitting this ad. Very much appreciate it. All right, let's get on to the next one here as we kind of keep on rolling for the ad reviews. Let me pull up the next lovely ad here for everybody to see. This one comes from Soft Pursuits. So Soft Pursuits has a static ad here, and again, it's a taller ad. So let's go ahead and let Chris and Cameron take a look at that. Again, if you at home want to share your opinions or your thoughts on how to improve, just use the hashtag SWUnplugged, and everyone can be part of this conversation. So, Cameron, you give it a 6, buddy. All right, take off that number here and tell me why you gave it a 6.
Well, it kind of is a simple ad, and I understand what they're talking about. Endpoint plus mobile workplace equals, and they have like a diagram so I can follow along, see what they're talking about. Get started today. So it's a nicer ad. It's not an animated one, but it's still getting my attention. They're using the right kind of graphics. Not that much text here, and it's easy to understand.
What could they do to give it to make it a 10 for you, Cameron?
Well, let's throw some animation in there, like from the globe down to the computers and the users. Maybe let's talk let's connect the dots there. Maybe a glowing little green little dot that goes from the globe to these. So you can see that there's data moving through this, because I think that's what you're trying to explain there. That's going to be kind of appealing. It'll grab my attention. And I see what you're going. Endpoint plus mobile workplace equals. Well, it's not clear at the same time what you're equaling. I get the diagram, but put the answer more bold at the bottom there. Tell me what it equals. Tell me what I need to get from this equation.
Okay. All right. Chris, you give it a 7. So what did you like about this ad, Chris?
Uh, the graphic, it's kind of catchy. The
Hey,
equation.
Chris, go ahead and pull off your number for me, bud. Sorry, you're fine.
Yeah, so the graphic is pretty catchy. The equation kind of catches your attention. I'm kind of a math nerd, so for me at least, that's like that'll kind of grab my attention. The colors I don't really like. The blues, that's just a personal preference though.
Okay.
But similar to Cameron, I think this. I don't really like animated ads to where it's multiple scenes like the
Okay.
previous ad, but this could kind of like a flowing line between the different points. I think this would lend well to that kind of animation.
Okay.
So where it's kind of it's a little bit catchy, but it's not annoying.
Okay.
But yeah, so the ad itself, the content is good. It's just like the tweaking the colors and maybe a little animation to it, and kind of maybe explaining a little bit more what it equals instead of just having it equal a graphic.
Okay. And what colors for you, obviously, would you like to see and Software Pursuits use here?
Kind of like just darker colors, for me at
So
least.
not yellow starburst, big orange,
Yeah,
obnoxious
yeah.
stuff.
And
Okay.
like maybe a darker blue instead of the baby blue. But again, that's just like personal preference. But the globe being blue and the bottom banner being blue and then the font being blue, there's just a lot of blue.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. So the next one, again, thank you so much, Software Pursuits, for giving that to us to give some feedback to you there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the next one here. This is from JMF Software. Sorry about that. Yeah, there it is. Now, this one also has a an animated ad. It's a GIF. And I'm going to see if I can't pull this up correctly here, so just give me 1 second. It worked okay in rehearsal, but it may not work well here today. Give me 1 sec to pull this up correctly. Let's see if we can't do this right here. All right, so I don't think you can see that animated ad that I can see on mine. So, okay, but we'll keep going on this one. But let me pull up the other one that they had here and share that screen. Sorry about that, JAMF. What we're going to do though is we'll make sure the IT pros give you some feedback on that one and give you that one for your animated GIF there. So let's pull this up. There it is. Okay, so this one over here was animated. It had about three different motions in it. But we can't do that one right now. It looks like the computer won't let me show it on the screen. But let's go ahead and go for their other ad here, ad number 2 that's not animated. What kind of scores do you give this one, Cameron and Chris? So this one, see here, Cameron, you're going to give this one an 8. Oh, man, we're getting closer to the elusive 10 with Cameron. And Chris, what kind of score do you give this one here? Chris gives it a 0. Oh, wait, it's coming. Oh, a 9. Okay, I was like, whoa! Chris is giving it a total bagel. Okay, a 9 and an 8. Wow, all right. So these guys, you guys rocked this one. So, Cameron, let's start with you with the 8 here. Why did you like this one over here, the Bushel, their product promotion here?
I would say more towards the animated ad. We actually did get a chance to see it earlier.
Okay, good.
And it related a lot to me because I have a lot of my doctors that are going on the way of the Mac,
Okay.
and man, it's hard to manage it in a domain kind of setting. You need special tools. It's not something that you can just do from off-the-shelf software.
Okay.
And these guys get it. And so anytime you talk about introducing a Mac to an enterprise environment, it's difficult to do. And it's an issue that I relate with right now because I don't know how to do it. And I would actually probably click on this ad to figure out how these guys accomplish it.
Good. And so I want to bring up the ad here. This is what the GIF would have looked like animated, but there are 4 different sections to it. You're going to see this one, Managing Mac in a Window World, and then it transitions over to this slide here, and then the next transition goes to that, and then they plug their Casper suite here. So this is Cameron, this is the one that you said got the 8.
Yes.
Correct?
The other one is appealing to me. I probably wouldn't rate it as high because it's not really explaining. I mean, there's pictures of the Mac, but lots of people are using Macs in their ads nowadays. But if you guys are selling software that takes care of Macs in an environment, corporate environment, that appeals a lot to me.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Chris there. Gave it a 9, almost a 10. So Chris, what did you like? Were you also, now maybe you're not the animated guy, so maybe you like the ad B there.
I like the standalone ad.
All right.
And basically just exactly what Cameron said. Apple devices in a corporate environment, it's a nightmare. And we are actually going through the process right now of looking, we're getting more and more Mac users requesting desktops, laptops, tablets, phones.
I'd be one of those.
We are in the process of looking for device management for those Macs, and it's right there on the top of the screen. It says Apple device management for everyone, and the Apple products, it caught my eye because we have that issue, and I've never heard of the company before, and
you never heard of JMF software. So this is a prime example of your first touch point, and it really hit it out of the park for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, and when we get done with this, I'm going to go look at the product when I get back to my desk, because like I said, we're in the process right now, and so it really, I mean, it's simple. You see that it's a Mac, you know it's a Mac, and then it says right there what it does. It'll let you manage those Apple devices that are such a pain for corporate environments.
All right, awesome job, JAMF, and to, again, Sasha and Annie, thank you so much for these ads. So marketers out there, take some notes from this one. It looks like these two ads really resonated with our IT pros today. Okay.
Can I give some final thoughts on that real quick, Todd?
Go for it, Cameron. Go for it.
I think what this ad does for both Chris and I is it speaks to us because we're going through it right now. We're in the midst of it. And that's what really works when it comes to advertising. If we're struggling and having issues, you've got a solution, we're going to want to know about it. So Chris and I are both going through the exact same thing. That's why we gave this one such a high rating, because it was clear, we understood the ad, and we need a solution in place.
Wow. All right. Speaking to their problems, giving them a solution. Great job, guys. All right, let's go ahead and go over to the next ad here. We've got 2 more ads in about just a couple more minutes, so we're going to again, give these guys our attention. This one comes from Joe Huber at JLG, an agency, and so he's doing these on behalf of Meru Networks. So thanks so much, Joe, for submitting these. And so, again, these are 2 static ads. You got A and B. I'll let Cameron and Chris give their scores here. A has a human being on it, and as we've learned so far, the IT pros like the human beings and the real human touch there. And the second ad has their actual product, it looks like. Call to actions here is get a free trial. So let's go over to Cameron's got 2 scores here. Great. So he says ad A gets a 3, but ad B gets a 6. All right. Thank you for that, Cameron. Chris gives it an 8. Chris, are you saying for both ads an 8, or is it one or the other?
I like both ads, but it's more. I like B better.
Okay. Great. So let's go ahead and take off that number for me, Chris, and tell me what you like about B, and then tell Meru and GLG what they can do to improve on ad A.
Well, B has a device and A doesn't. That's the only difference for me.
Okay. So in this case, the human element doesn't add anything to you on this one.
Nope.
None. Okay.
The showing the device is a big plus. It's concise, like the previous ad that got a high rating for us. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very concise, what it is, how you do it, and what you do in a concise way, and it tells you exactly what it is. It's Wi-Fi for business. And okay. The other thing that kind of gave me a higher score, free trial.
Okay. How long would you want that free trial, Chris? Because we've heard IT pros, if it's less than a certain amount of time, they'll never click on it. So what's a good free trial time frame for you to have when you click on that ad and to get it?
For me, being in such a large environment, we have a lot of overhead and a lot of higher-ups that need to sign off on stuff. And so I would say an absolute minimum would be 2 weeks. 30 days would probably be more ideal.
Okay.
And if we can talk it out to maybe 60 days, that would be even better. But a bare absolute minimum to where if it's under 2 weeks, I won't even bother looking at it.
Okay. All right, Cameron, you gave the ad number A a 3 and ad B a 6. Tell us how 3 just didn't do it for you.
I agree with Chris. The human relation doesn't have any kind of appeal to me. I don't know if this guy is selling jackets or what he's doing exactly in this ad, but it doesn't speak to me on what you guys are selling. That being said, the other part of the ad, like without the guy, or not, the other section of that of ad A is it explains what it is: cloud, powerful Wi-Fi for business, and a free trial. Like what Chris was saying, free trial is definitely an appeal to me. I've actually fallen for 2 of these free access point ads in the past, and I've signed up for them. And speaking about the trial a little bit, what is frustrating is when I'm a busy IT guy, there's only one of me, and there's 75 people in my organization. I can't always try something out within a 30-day trial. So if it's only going to be 30 days, I'm not probably going to sign up for it because I know I'm not going to be able to give it the fair trial it deserves before I decide on it. So I'm going to look for something more like in the 90-day or higher area.
Okay. And so tell again, what about B gave you a higher score on that one again?
They describe what they actually are selling, an access point. And it looks nice. It's just the guy just didn't cut it for me, but an access point definitely does. That's something I love is like access points. I want the best kind of wireless I can provide for my doctors.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Joe Huber, for that one. We're gonna keep rolling here, and we're gonna go down to Networks here. This guy is he's from Russia. So thanks so much for submitting this one. And so what do we think about this? This is 2 different ads, A and B, I'll tell you I like, of course, the cat ad. I think, everybody likes cat videos. It's always a waste of time kind of thing, but it's also eye-catching for me. But I'm a tech marketer, not an IT pro, so I'm going to let these guys give their opinions on it. Again, Cameron's got the A and B going on here. A gets a 3 and B gets a 5. And Chris says it's like a 7. Chris, is that for both A and B or just A or B?
That's a combo.
A combo. Okay, great. So, Chris, let's start with you here. Take off that number, and what did you like about these ads here?
I liked A more than B.
Okay.
I'm kind of over the whole internet cat craze.
Okay. Overdone. All right. Fair enough.
And so, yeah, the colors kind of make it pop. I know a lot of people may not like the multiple colors, but I think they work well together. Free, all caps. That's a plus. And I love tools. Free tools.
You love tools. Okay. Got it. And so B just didn't do it because of the cat?
Yeah, it's too cutesy, I guess.
Okay. What could they have put there? Is there another animal that they could have put there, or another kind of humorous graphic that they could have done there?
Maybe a cartoon IT person or something. Not really an animal.
Okay. All right. Cameron, let's go to you here. You gave. Tell us again. A got a 3, I believe you said.
3.
B got a 5.
Yes, that's correct.
So tell us about. Let's start with B first here. Why did you give that one a higher score?
It's funny, humorous. Cats are rage, and if an advertiser can use that somehow, it's pretty funny to me. So,
okay.
And I can understand what they're talking about. They have tools for IT pros. That's something that I probably would want to look into.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
I just love the humor.
All right, and A. What about A?
I gave that one low because I feel it's too much. There's too much color going on. There's too much noise, and that's not something I'm ever going to even look at because of how much is going on in it.
So when you say noise, is it the combination of the colors, the text, and the capital letters, or what about that noise? Okay.
It's the different font sizes, the different colors, the different lines. It's you really have to stare at it to even read it. So there's a lot going on there. I had to look at B to even see what they're talking about, and then I could look back at A and understand what they're trying to say.
Oh, okay. All right. So, hey, to our audience out there, again, I promised you we'd get out of here at 10:45. We have one more ad to go. I do want to get to it. If you have to jet out, thank you so much. You can get more information about Spiceworks and helpful content resources at spiceworks.com/marketing. So I will relieve you if you guys want to go ahead and go back to your jobs. I appreciate you coming, but we are going to do one more ad here. if the IT pros will indulge me. We shouldn't take too long. We've got one more. So again, thanks to Networks here, Networks for submitting this. Hope we got some good feedback here to make those ads a little bit better and get the IT pros' attention. So again, looks like Vadim, go ahead and maybe do this as one color or two colors, not three, and change that font just a bit, and maybe maybe do an A/B test here. Maybe take the font over here and put it over here, and just see how that performs overall. But overall, hopefully that helps out. Get those ads some better click-throughs. All right, and finally here we've got it from High Five. So high five to Michael. Thanks for submitting these ads here. You've got A and B. Both of these are static. They show a 30-day free trial on both, and it's got a human element, a human touch point to both of them, it looks like. So I'm going to let Cameron and Chris give this some scores here. And it looks like, Chris, you're going to give this one an 8, so a little higher up on your scale. And Cameron gives it a 6, so that's great. Chris, let's start with you here. Why do you give this one an 8?
It's clear, it's concise, free trial. It's 30 days, which is kind of right in that middle range for me for wanting a free trial. It shows you exactly what it is. It's video web conferencing.
Okay. What could have gotten it to a 10? I mean, if they were to change the people inside of it, if they were to change it to look more like an IT pro, or is this okay to use, these modern, outside of, I guess, the tech marketer, or not tech marketer, but the IT pro genre there, is that okay to use those type of individuals in that ad, or would you rather see someone closer to an IT pro look?
I think closer to like an IT. Like I like the graphic on the B better than A.
Okay.
Kind of more of a corporate, like it looks like a boardroom meeting. A meeting room where there's multiple people, multiple devices. Maybe increase the trial to 60 days or even 90 days.
Okay.
And maybe change the font. It's kind of a boring font.
What about the amount of text on this, on ad B? Let's talk about that one. You've got, 2 short sentences, but we at Spiceworks always practice, 6 words or less. In this case, what do we think about the amount of text on this?
I like the text on A better than B.
Okay.
I don't think the video conferencing you actually love is really needed.
Okay.
The video and web conferencing for your entire company, it's short, it's concise, tells you exactly what you need to know, what it does.
Okay. All right. Let's go back over to Cameron here. Cameron, tell us your scores, what they were again on A and B.
I gave it a 6. I would give like A probably even a little lower, maybe like a 5 or a 4.
Okay.
B was more appealing to me because of how elegant their conference room looks. I want my conference room to look like that.
All right. Okay. So, and you like that, again, as Chris said, you like the look of kind of that, the corporateness of showing how it's used, I think is what you guys are saying. Not so much that it's a stiff, formal ad, but you can just see how the application can be used in a real life setting. Okay.
Yep.
What about the font, Cameron?
Font's fine for me. The words are fine for me in either or. There's not too much. The trial could be a little bit higher for video conferencing to get the right equipment in there, and to try it 30 days is a little rough to do, especially because you're involving somebody else you're conferencing with. It's not just your office you're doing this with, and to get their side set up, I don't know if that's even doable in my world in 30 days. So you could bump that up a little bit higher. I don't see a reason why that would hurt you at all. Okay. And then the A advertisement, I don't know if you're trying to tell me that you use Skype or something along those lines, because it's just a picture of 2 people on a screen doesn't tell me web conferencing, but the conference room definitely does. Sells that point. I understand it.
Good. All right. Okay. Well, that's all the ads, folks. And so before you head off, I do want to say, what you've experienced today is what you're going to be experiencing inside of Spiceworks as far as IT pros and Spice heads who look at your ads and they do give it some thought. And so we have for those of you who may be new to Spiceworks, 6 million IT pros are in Spiceworks and they get to see your ads just like we talked about today. And from Chris and Cameron, they do see those ads, and Chris even said with one of the vendors, he saw the ad, and so now he's actually going to learn more about them. So again, inside Spiceworks, you can reach 6 million IT pros, but not only reach them, but connect with them in a personal, human way. And so you learn today how you can do that through ads, but these IT pros always lend their helping voice to how you can do that through webinars and case studies and all those things, because what you've experienced here too is an Unplugged Online. We do these unplugs across the country where we actually travel to different venues. We go into some pretty cool places, and we bring IT pros with us, local IT pros, and they give you feedback just like this. So this is only online to give you a taste, but we have unplugs that go across the country and even overseas to our UK and EMEA users and vendors, and we do these things live and in person. So again, we hope that you enjoyed the feedback from the IT pros. Again, get inside Spiceworks, ask the IT pros what they think of your ads or of anything else. I'm sure they'll always be happy to lend a hand. Cameron and Chris, let me ask you this before we sign off here. When marketers do ask you questions inside Spiceworks and they ask for feedback, is that a good thing or a bad thing, or are you indifferent on that when they do? Let's start with Chris here.
It's a good thing. That's one of the reasons I like to participate in the Unplugged events, because it gives kind of feedback back and forth to the marketers, and the marketers is what's driving the Spiceworks
Great.
for us. And so as long as you want my honest opinion, then I'm more than happy to give it to you.
Good. And Cameron, same question for you.
This is my first unplug, and I'm happy to do it with no questions asked. Just because how powerful Spiceworks is, how much use I've gotten out of it, and I want to give back. And I love that you guys are willing to know what ads are working and which ones aren't, and kind of tweak them here and there, because I don't want Spiceworks to get too cluttered or just not being appealing to me. I really want it to speak to me and help me if I'm working on issues or products. That means a lot. So I definitely don't mind giving you guys feedback at all on that stuff.
There you go. So straight from the real IT pros, your real IT buyers, they do want you to succeed in Spiceworks because they love Spiceworks, but they love that you guys are asking for feedback. So for the 10 vendors who gave us their ads for submission, thank you so much for being brave, but also being a spicy marketer, as we like to call you guys, for getting ready for that feedback, and hopefully that feedback is going to help you guys improve your ad performances or continue your success inside and outside of Spiceworks. So from all of us here at Spiceworks, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We'll hope to see you in the community. To Chris, thank you so much, buddy, and to Cameron, thank you so much for joining us on your busy work days. For all of us again here at Spiceworks, thanks so much, IT marketers and IT buyers out there, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.